G'day YouTube. Today I'm going to do a video about revisiting one of my favourite trains from the City Line for the last few years, and that is the good old 60197 train. Now I'm going to be doing another video on this train because this, as you can see, is not a standard 60197 train. There is a lot different about this to what you normally get, but that's a different video. We'll come back to that one. What I want to do is something I've wanted to do for a while, and that is to add a double-decker carriage to this train. Lego's done this themselves in the past. There's some sets that really lend themselves to it, but this is not big enough in terms of the height. So if you look at one of these carriages, they sit on a standard plate here, and then everything's built up on top, and that's not high enough. So you need to build down into this space. Now there's a couple of ways you can do that. One is to use something like this, which is an off-the-shelf part for Lego. They've used it in trains before. They've used it in lorries, or trucks rather, in the City Line. It's a good base. It's solid. It works well. And I did build a prototype of this using this. If you look at my Instagram, GJ_Bricks, you'll actually see a version that has this base plate in it. But what I don't like about this is the fact that this has some detailing down here, and I want to actually enhance this detailing in the future, where it slopes inwards like this, and this is a square edge. There's no way, you can't put another line of slopes or anything in there to give it that edge, because then it would actually make the train this high and it would look very strange. So what I opted to do, I apologise for a couple of random colours in there, I built a base. Well, I've not built a train base before, and I will say that part of the strength that this gets will come from the layer of bricks that's going to go on top of it, but we'll do that in a minute. If you think about that, it's going to cover up and just make a rigid line here. So that layering is what will fix it. But in here, there are a couple of those these sort of S-shaped pieces in there to give it some strength and connect these two plates here, which actually hold the weight of the bogies down into this base. So the whole thing is pretty solid all the way through. That's not going to fall apart in a hurry. I will make one concession. I did want to use 8 longs here, but I actually didn't have any of these. So these are 6 longs. I will change them to 8 longs when I can. Reason being, it just, again, gives it that little bit more strength all the way through, because there's these panels on the end, but it doesn't matter too much because the bricks will add strength. But what that would mean is the bricks are then actually built onto the base, whereas the way this is, they're actually built around the bits attached to this base, which is a shame. I've got these round pieces in here. Someone feel free to correct me, but I don't think Lego makes a square version of this piece, and I really wish they did, for this exact reason that you're looking at here, because it would be really good for covering up holes like that one. So I've got an orange one there because for some reason I didn't have any grey ones. So let's pop the bogies on there. These, again, I've just gone with the standard bogie that came with the train on this because they're short. And if I had gone with more stylized bogies, this is already longer than the carriages. These carriages are actually already 4 studs longer than the ones that came with the train, because I decided to make everything bigger. And this, as you can see, is 6 studs longer than that. So if I made these bigger, I'd then have to make this actually 10 studs longer than the carriages, which is not a problem, but it starts to make it look really unruly. So we'll avoid that issue. We won't go down that path. Now, in terms of what's in the carriage, I've just gone with the standard chairs and table here for now. I might revisit this one, but you can see I've just sunk the deck down slightly. Haven't had to do it too much. That works nicely with this base. It works nicely with these slope pieces, and everything else plays nicely. There's just one line of plates under that base to make it up to the right height. Looks like we've got a little step down as well into it. I think it works quite well personally. I did like how Robin Hood Bricks on his double-decker one made this a sleeper compartment. I did think about doing that, but decided against it for the moment. Maybe I'll revisit that idea. But what I was actually thinking was this would work well as a quiet carriage. So this is a quiet carriage. Upstairs is an observation deck. Now, obviously we need to make sure that our passengers can go up and down stairs, and I've opted to put the stairs on the outsides here, and you'll see why in a minute. So just very simple, 2 slopes, 1 2x2 brick and 1 2x1 brick there, just to give it a bit of rigidity. And this is actually going to help support the upper deck as well and give us plenty of room for access in there. Now I've got hand solo here, I'm going to put in there, and we've got hand traveling solo. Just thought I would put him in there as a passenger. Now, in terms of building this out, I'm going to start with the back side here, but I'll do it from this side so you can see everything that's going on. So the first part I've got is the edge here, and I've got 2 bits built in there that you can see. The reason being, I want those to support the subfloor. So we'll put that in there like that, and we'll just push that down. And again, you start to see that starts to give the whole thing some strength. Now, I'll put one of my back doors in. Now, I'm going to do a video on these, but I'm not actually making doors that open, but I'm making doors that look like they open. And I will talk about that in a video, because really, Lego trains should have doors. Even if you can't open them, they should have doors. So we'll put those 2 doors on there. Next piece, just the other wall. So I'm again using lots of parts from the original set. This is obviously where the door goes there. So we'll put that in there, and we start to see how that wall is giving this whole base extra strength, extra rigidity. So we've built along here, gone with a row of blue tiles along here, exactly the same as the original train, so that it keeps the roof able to come off. And then we'll just put the other side in there, and just building it all up there. Next up, we'll do the front side. So again, putting one of the doors in. Again, notice they're 3 wide. They look like doors because there's a join there. Even though they don't work, they actually look like doors because there's a join. So when I put this in like that, it looks like a door because it's all got one line in it, which makes it look like it should open. Put the other side in there, and you'll notice there's a nice hole here, and I'll talk about that one in a moment. Next up, again, the standard ends that came with the train. I haven't changed any of this. I will confess, I have played with changing these, but haven't felt the need to in any way. Like I'd like it to actually close up the gap. So again, there we have what's starting to look like quite a solid little train. Now, I didn't have a long enough base plate to go the whole length here. I will see if I can order one this length. I've never checked to see if there is one this long. But I've gone with a long one and a short one because that way it makes them sit on these 2 supports properly. So if I put that 2x4 in there above hand's head, you can see how that actually is adding support to that plate. And if I do the same on this one, it doesn't look perfect, but it is actually sitting on that back plate and giving it some strength. So it does work. I did think about running something down there, but I'd have had to drop the floor down, and then that would cause me problems with the fake side that I put on. So I decided to go with a fake side on this so that I could get in and out easily. It's a double decker. There we go. I can get in and out just by taking that side off. I thought it made a lot of sense to actually have that access. Next up, for the upper deck, I wanted it to be kind of like have a bit more of an observational feel to it. So I thought what I would do is make a couple of captain's chairs in the colour scheme of this train. So our orangey yellow, or it's actually called bright orange, grey and blue. And this one actually swivels just because, you know, it can. So we'll put that in there. And I think my little minifigure can sit in that one, having a good view. It does feel a bit like Snowpiercer actually when you put this together. There we go, there's my character in the top there, and then I've just got another one there. I haven't put a swivel on that one because I didn't have a swivel. I do need to put a table in there, but I think those look pretty cool having that. I would put more in there, but it actually starts to become very cramped, and you'll see why in a minute. And I don't think it really needs it, to be honest. It gives it that kind of exclusivity, and I'm not going to make the train any bigger. Now comes the bit that I have toiled over for a very long time, the roof. I've looked around at other designs, I've looked around at other pieces people have used, and this slope is far and away the best one I liked, along with these roof pieces in the middle here. I like these because they actually fit onto the slopes here as well, so we get this nice cohesion. Everything's joined together. We can keep that orange going. We've got the blue line through the middle. I've kept the blue supports that we use lower down. I've decided to carry that on into the roof just because I felt it made it look a little bit more realistic. And then again, found someone who had lots of nice parts, so I made use of it and got these to add a bit of sort of looks like support across the middle there, because it's now supporting everything there. The one thing I don't like is I've got these windows sitting straight onto these tiles. I can't avoid that unless I was to change this grey line to be 2 with a row of studs on it, and I just really didn't want to bother with that at the moment, because again I'd have had to do another parts order. So there we go, put everything together, and we have what I think is a rather stunning double-decker train, or carriage rather. That's my take on it. I'd love to know your thoughts though. You saw how I put that together. I'm happy to provide any more detail on some of these approaches I've made. I am going to improve this ever so slightly in a few places, but I've had this one sitting here and wanting to share it with you. I thought I would. So let me know in the comments what you think and what you would add to improve this one. Bit of detail down here. There's space in here to do something. I could put some chairs in here. Haven't decided about that one yet, because it is a double-decker train with only 6 seats, which seems a bit silly. That's less than the actual passenger car. I've tried to break it up by using some of the spare stickers I had here. I'm not 100% happy with that one. I might change that into some slopes or something like that, akin to how they did it in the Horizon Express. Not sure. But otherwise, I like the way that looks. I think it's a good size. It is bigger than the rest of the train, and I will do a video of this running around my city very, very soon. I am in the middle of tidying up and renovating Studsburg, so that will happen. If you're new here, hit subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and you can get some more great content from me and support my channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very soon.